So the time to go to our next presentation, Dr. ATOROD AZIZINAMINI is going to present on development of accelerated bridge construction handbook, basically ABC handbook for our program. Dr. AZIZINAMINI.
All right. Thanks for the time. I mean, also just one comment. I mean, on the previous presentation, I just wanted to chime in. None of the available decision-making tools that we know of that's out there accounts for the accident and the cost to the society that an accident and the loss of property, fatality and so on will have. And we know that the construction zones are magnet for the accident, but there is none of the tools that are available are quantitatively are accounting for the effect of the accident on the site. So anyway, I just wanted to add that. So coming back here, this presentation is really more for getting a feedback from you. Please take a look at what we have planned to do, and at the end I have a couple of basically a suggestion, and there is opportunity for subject matter expert to participate in this. The idea of this development of the handbook is really, for example, let's say you have a structural engineering handbook. All of us have seen. Over the last 10 years, we have developed tremendous amount of knowledge in the area of the ABC, and we are trying to take advantage of that. Not only us, but also other people have developed. So we are trying to put everything together and develop this ABC UTC ABC handbook. And this will be hopefully a live reference, the first draft of it. We are hoping that to be available in the spring of the next year, 2023. As the time passes, we know that more additional information is going to be available, so the future versions of it is going to have more information. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the just the chapters that's involved in this ABC UTC ABC handbook, and then I will one chapter I will give you some example of the material that has been already developed. So there are many chapters. There are 17 chapters at the moment that we have for this, and I will be basically editing, but it's going to be a contribution with many people to this handbook. And the 17 chapters, I'm going to just elaborate on some of them. And again, if you feel like you are a subject matter expert in some of these chapters and you'd like to participate, you can send me an email, and with the documentation of that indicates that your backgrounds and your capabilities and so on, and certainly we can take a look at that. The chapter 1 is just an introduction to ABC. This is going to look at the past, present, look at where we came from, and in fact, some of the ABC, there has been many projects that have used methods to reduce the construction time on site, and we are basically going to discuss that and define what the ABC is, because there is many of us in the bridge community, of course, we know the total construction time is the same, except that all we are doing is we are doing lots of construction activities offsite and then reducing the activities on site, but the total construction time is the same. So there has been some projects that have used that. In fact, the very first one goes back to 1800s, actually, in London, that I came across. Chapter 2 is a definition. It's very important to define the different terminologies for example, modular beams and so on. What do we mean by that? So all this definition is going to be in chapter 2. Decision-making tools. This is a really the topic that Dr. Ali Ibrahimian was discussing, providing the summary of basically what's available out there. In most of these things, we're gonna put as much as possible the references. If a material is published, we are not gonna repeat that in this, but we're gonna provide the summary of it. We're gonna try to make these chapters to the point, and the supporting material, if possible, in the appendix, so that the reader can really get the gist of the topics and get the most important part of the information that's possible. So all the summary of the decision-making tools and some of the work that we have done at ABC UTC, such as the work that Dr. Ali Ibrahimian is doing and so on, will be put in the chapter 3. Chapter 4 is a ABC construction method, and this is basically the 3 different most popular methods of using an ABC, which is the sliding SPMT and a modular method. And of course, the modular method is the most used method that we have come across. Just a summary of that again. References will be given to published material that's out there. Chapter 5 is really overview of the AASHTO ABC guide specification. Again, we are not going to repeat everything. We are just going to mention the philosophy behind that, some of the important sections of it, what it covers, what it doesn't cover, and any information that we feel like that, for example, that should be covered in this chapter. That's it for chapter 5. Chapter 6 is, we feel like ultra performance concrete is really providing us a new horizon, new opportunities to do things that was not possible in the past. So we're going to be devoting a chapter on the ultra performance concrete. There has been tons of work that has been done by the FHWA, Ben Graybill, many researchers at different universities, and ABC UTC, to develop the non-proprietary UHPC. So we're going to discuss the mix, preparation, and so on, the work that Dr. Royce has done at the University of Oklahoma together with all the other partner universities. So the summary of that is going to be here, and also some of the application of the UHPC, such as the closure joints and so on. So this chapter is going to be fairly extensive. Again, we're going to try to reference, because there's so much information that's available and so much information that's becoming available, such as, for example, the codifying the design of for example, the elements using the UHPC. So this chapter is going to be really one of the important part of this ABC UTC ABC handbook. Durability, our expert, Dr. Kingsley Lau, is going to be covering basically durability of the, because there are several questions that usually owners used to ask, not so much today, but a few years ago. What is the safety and the durability and basically if you use the projects that use the ABC techniques. For example, in the modular techniques, the common sense says that the more joints you have, the less joints you have, the more durable the bridge system you're going to have. On the other hand, in a modular method, which is the most popular method of using an ABC, has joints all over. But what we do is we use a UHPC where possible, or good quality concrete with a membrane and so on. So this chapter is going to discuss the durability aspect, even the non-destructive techniques that goes with it. Chapter 8 is a ABC steel superstructure. So this is we have decided to really, rather than having one chapter on superstructure, we have one chapter on the different type of the ABC steel superstructure. Some of these some of these methods are proprietary and some are not. And I'm also looking at the time so I can have time. Another chapter, chapter 9, is the ABC concrete superstructure. Dr. David Garber will be leading this effort. Chapter 10 is an ABC substructure. Our the expert, Dr. Armin Mehrabi, will be, and he has a couple of really good publications related to this that has developed using a ABCUTC sponsored research project. So this is a very important one. It's going to discuss foundation substructures and so on. And Dr. Mehrabi will be leading this. Chapter 11 is a ABC connection. So again, while you are looking at this, if you feel like that you have some expertise in some of these chapters, please contact me. Chapter 12 is ABC seismic consideration. Relatively, really, if you want to say, there's a more probably need for additional research in the seismic application of the ABC, but we have made quite a progress in that area, and Dr. Bijan Khalegi is right on top of that. So he will be leading the development of he's leading actually the development of the chapter 12. Lots of material has already been developed. Chapter 13, additive manufacturing or additive construction, or commonly known as a 3D printing. 3D printing is here, and those of you who are going to be coming to the ABC UTC conference in December, you're going to see actually a printers that will be printing basically a different element of the bridge. So don't miss that chance. But this is an area, it's already here, additive manufacturing. So this chapter is going to try to provide what we know right now, what the trend is, what we have developed in relation to additive construction or 3D printing applicable to the bridge area, and where we are going from here. Chapter 14 is repair and upgrade. Dr. I.M. Mantawi, who is now professor at Rowan University in New Jersey, will be leading this chapter development. Chapter 15 is available resources. Again, these resources are becoming more and more available. This is a summary of it that we're going to provide. And chapter 16 is design example. I thought maybe for one chapter to provide you to give you some feeling. Design examples are going to be related to the ABC, of course. And for example, I'm going to give you one example that's already been developed. For example, this is one steel bridge system that, in fact, to be specific, is a folded plate. So it has an introduction. First, it talks about the cases that has been already developed, advantages, limitations, type of longitudinal closure joints that has been used, the precast deck options, full width, and those are on the right hand side. Those are page number that give you an idea how many pages we are devoting to this. There are also precast deck option, full depth, partial depth, saying okay, you can do, these are options you have. The turn down method is basically at the end, the cast in place precast method that was developed actually as Iowa State. Section 2.4, extending the folded plate to beyond the 60 feet to 100 feet. What kind of barrier connections you have, options you have, and the lessons that have been learned by using this system. More than 12 of them are in service right now, what we have learned during the construction. So, and then it goes through the design calculations, actual detailed design calculation. It discusses the design data and the bridge geometry. The modular method is a modular units. How do you design them? Steel section properties, elastic section properties, and so on, cross-section property summary. Then it goes to the analysis of the system, including during the construction, discusses everything that you need to know. Everything is based on the ASHTO LRFD code, analysis, and so on. it discusses all the steps that you have to go through the design and gives the corresponding ASHTO specification that you need to follow. It goes through very detailed deck design, stability, how do you lift the modular, these modules during the construction, and so on. And then the references. And then finally, chapter 17 is the international trends. So a couple of last slides. If you have expertise and interested in contributing to the ABCUTC ABC Handbook, please send me an email with your qualification. So this could be your resume, this could be a copy of the publications that you have, copy of the work that you have done, bridges that you have designed, and so on. So if you are interested, you can participate in development of this ABCUTC handbook. And one more thing, and then I will end. We are also looking at conducting a series of ABC workshops after the ABCUTC ABC handbook is completed. I can tell you that there are some interest so far, but send me an email if you would like to be on the list that once we have completed this ABCUTC ABC handbook, that we're going to be go around the country and then having basically these series of workshop that will be going through the handbook, which is really a great opportunity to learn the ABC. So this is my contact information. So with that, I will conclude. And I don't believe I have maybe 2 minutes, I believe, Armin. And if there's any question, yes, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you very much, Dr. AZIZINAMINI. Again, the more you talk about this handbook, the more I see the need for it. We have had all the information in pieces in our website. Yes, if you go to our website, you can find them somewhere, but putting all this together in one document is really going to be helpful. It's without it, things won't be complete, really. So I don't see any question, but one question I have, Dr. AZIZINAMINI, how would this compare or basically adapt with information already available by ASHTO, by FHWA, etc. Outside? We know that a lot of similar things out there in the public.
Yeah, that's a very good question. And as I mentioned, we are not going to try to repeat everything that is published. Where possible, we are going to try to provide the references so that, for example, if you want to look at the, let's say, ASHTO LRFT ABC guide, there's no need to repeat everything, but providing a summary of what this guide is doing, what's there, what is should be developed in the future, and where you can get those additional information that you need, for example. That's how we're going to approach it. So we are not going to repeat anything, but we're going to try to reference it. But for example, if it comes to the design examples, we're going to provide a detailed design example with respect to ABC, steel superstructure, concrete superstructure, and the substructure foundations. So those are going to be the major stuff. So there are many chapters that has information that are not in the references. But there are many information that's already published, and those we are going to reference it. We will not do the repeat.
Thank you very much, Dr. AZIZINAMINI.